Backpacking the Pacific Northwest can be quite the trek, quite the journey, quite the trip, even quite the adventure. Such is the case for the couple's Insignificant Other, a Paramount Plus original written and directed by Dan Burke and Robert Olson, who did movies such as Body, The Stakelander, and Villains, the latter of which came out in 2019, starred Micah Monroe, more on her later, Bill Skarsgård, Kira Sedgwick, and was one of the more popular movie reviews that I've done on this channel. However, if you were to ask me for any more details about the movie, couldn't tell you shit. I don't remember loving it. I don't remember hating it. I remember there being a couple halfway decent comedic moments, but the movie mostly just went, boop, that's about it. But yes, like that movie, this also stars Micah Monroe as Ruth. Cal, I farted. Ruth, I farted. If you are a non-MST3K fan, you have no fucking idea what those references mean. You have no goddamn idea. And if you do get it, please let me know in the comments. Nevertheless, she is a surfer that is going on a trail trek in the Pacific Northwest with her boyfriend Harry, played by Jake Lacey. Not to be confused with the town about 100 miles from me named Lacey, because he doesn't have an E in his last name. If you're from Washington State and you've ever been to the town of Lacey, there's nothing really remarkable about it. It's not bad. I remember them having a massive goddamn Kmart and a couple other big buildings, but nevertheless, enough about Pacific Northwest geography that nobody really cares about, even anybody in this state. So yes, Micah Monroe, she's in this, and she kind of has some issues. Harry loves her, though, and they're on this trail trek to bond as a couple. Obviously, they'd have to be significant others. If they were non-significant others, then they maybe would be just friends with benefits. Ah, that was an alleged comedy. Let's get back to this. So, yes, they're having some fun, even a bit of awkwardness with the exchanges. You can tell they do care about each other, and as they set up camp, they're having fun, and then, they just decide to, just chat and have some fun, even though it's clear that Ruth has some issues. We find out more about that later. And then sometime later, Harry decides to propose because he really does love her. That doesn't go all that well. There's a few reasons for this I'll get into in spoilers. And that sets off a series of events where things really kind of take a second act twist, and then things get really weird. So, okay, I'm just going to say right now that while I will get to the twists and everything in the spoiler section, if you have been outside for more than 5 fucking minutes, even if you haven't seen the trailer, you see the opening shot, you know where this fucking thing's going to go. And unfortunately, it doesn't really deviate from that. It does try to take the whole thing of isolated horror, other horror. It takes a bunch of elements, human centipedes them together, and then throws them to you. But here's the problem. It doesn't expand on any of them. It's 84 minutes with a bunch of ideas that are never fleshed out, but also feel stretched out at the same time. It's fucking incredible how the directors/writers managed to pull that off. And also, Micah Monroe. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. If I'm not, I do apologize. I don't know how else you could pronounce a name spelled like that. But she got her launch in 2014's It Follows. Some people liked. I didn't. I thought the concept was decent. The movie's just okay. She's also in Watcher, a Shudder original that I reviewed. And I've realized that she is almost seemingly typecast in movies like this because maybe she's a good actress. I don't know. But she has the same confused/blank expression where she just has to basically act like no other human would act in any of these particular situations. And it's actually amazing that her career arc has just kind of stayed like this. So nevertheless, she unfortunately is the biggest name actress in this. And I say unfortunately because I haven't been grabbed by anything that she's done. Also, besides beautiful locations, because we in the Pacific Northwest have many, many beautiful mountains and trails and places where if you won't get lost unless you're a complete fucking idiot. I.e. most of the drivers here. Nevertheless, the twists and everything are just, you can see them coming from a fucking mile away. They do some comedic attempts. They do some other stuff. It doesn't fucking work. It's not a good dramatic piece. It's not good when it introduces the horror elements. None of it's good. None of it's good at all. I actually was fucking baffled by just how bad this was. And it's a good thing it got released to streaming because had this gone in the theaters, this would have been laughed out of the fucking theaters. Now, there are people that have been praising it. That's fine. People can like it. That's okay. But it centers around two very, very bland people that just, I don't know. Just nothing about these particular people grabbed me. I didn't care who lived, who died. That's really what it comes down to. And the horror elements are fucking laughable. The overuse of dramatic music, jump scare stuff, and whatever. It was stupid. It was really, really fucking stupid, and I hated it. Now I'm going to get into spoilers, so just check it out on Paramount Plus if you have a subscription. These spoilers will not take very long. Fucking trust me on that. So 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay, beginning of the movie. Woo! Rock, a giant rock goes down. What is it? It's fucking aliens. That's what it fucking is. Even in one of the earlier scenes, they're at this little diner, this Bigfoot hut shack, or whatever the fuck, burger shack, I think is what it was. And it's like a trailer, just a trailer with a woodsy feel to it and everything. Obviously, because it's in the fucking woods. And this boy is going to take their dishes, but they just started eating. And he said, "Did you see the red star come down?" And so they go right to the mountain, and they're doing this stuff, and he proposes to her sometime later. But before that, they find a deer that's an oil-based deer. It's all busted apart. I've never seen a deer like that. I'm home, deer. Tonight on According to Bambi. Again, if you're not a goddamn MST Riff Tracks fan, you have no idea what I'm referring to. But yeah, that doesn't really work all that well. That doesn't really go too well, because after he proposes, yeah, let's just say that, things get a little bit weird, because she doesn't want to get married because her parents split, and she takes anxiety meds and has, all this stuff and this pain, all this heartache and stuff like that. And yeah, anxiety's a fucking bitch. The problem is she doesn't convey it very goddamn well. Maybe she really has anxiety. Maybe she's just not good at conveying it on film. I don't hate Micah Monroe, I just don't really fucking get the appeal. Have I said that? So they do have a discussion. She says people change, and you'll change. Maybe you'll still love me like you do. Maybe you won't. So sometime later, even though it's supposed to only take place over a few days, he wanders off, comes back, and everything seems fine. And then she wanders off. She goes in this cave with this weird slimy stuff, and then she turns around and sees, oh my God! She sees something, and then these crows fly off, a nice jump scare thing. She's acting weird. Harry's wondering what the fuck's going on. She says, hey, Harry, let's get married. Let's go back to that spot. Let's pretend that I didn't say no. Okay, they get there. She agrees to marry him. I love you. Pushes him off the cliff. What the fuck? Oh my God, she's taken over by this thing. Oh, wait. Then she passes out. A couple finds her a little bit later. Hey, what happened? I don't remember. Oh, okay, come back to camp with us. Perfectly fucking reasonable. And also earlier, Ruth, who also farted, could get a signal, and suddenly this couple can't get a signal. That's fucking convenient. So then, she doesn't remember. She's talking to them a little bit, but suddenly she grabs a knife and is doing this. Mac the knife. No, not Captain Commando, not that. She's freaking out because suddenly Harry's here. Oh no, Harry's actually the replica, and he has the T-1000 nail shit that he put in Linda Hamilton's shoulder. That's the extent of the powers. That's the extent of the fucking power. Stuff that we saw in 1991. So he kills both of them. And what is he? He's a guy that reports back after coming down to the plant and scouting it out. Scout? And that's pretty much it right there. I mean, there's also some attempts at comedy because he took over a human. He's not familiar with the feelings of love. Maybe he does love her. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's tricking her. And then he decides to show her his ship. And then, he says, more like me are coming. You could come back to my planet, or you could stay here where the same people that are on my planet will be there. And you won't like it here, but you'll like it there with the same. Makes no sense. God damn it, the writer-directors were fucking drunk when they did this. And then, because they were, because Ruth is a surfer that was away from the water. She doesn't like being away from the water. Earlier, that couple that got killed referenced how they stopped surfing around here because there were sharks. So she gets in the water and then has the Harry replica eaten by sharks. But then he rips apart a shark's head and reforms and everything. Because he's able to do that. And then he's finally able to get the little tentacle thing to take over. Or get in the back. And then they have this long monologue thing where it talks about wanting to be human and turns into her. And she's the replica. But then the real Ruth says, well, hey, wait a second. All that pain in me, now it's in you. And all that heartache, all that stuff, you can't escape it. You can't do any of this stuff. The alien tries to go for the medication, but the medication's out. Oh, just it helps to lie down. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Then she smashes its head with a rock. And then she gets to her stuff and drives away while the alien is reforming, because apparently she didn't bash its head nearly enough, despite the fact she bashed it about 18 times. Cut the head off, maybe. That might have helped. But then the Ruth replica gets on the goddamn radio and says, you can't escape me. You can't escape what's coming. Fuck! God, this movie was shit. There were a couple good ideas that could have been expanded on, and I don't mind movies mixing genres. Saloon, or however the fuck you say that Shudder original, that mixed good ideas together. This didn't. This was shit. F. Fuck. Can we get a cattle prod? Maybe, get Michael Monroe show any goddamn emotion next time. Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.